her Gemma had walked out because she had discovered me cheating with another woman. I repeated the story to Ian Compo Greenslade, my best friend and best man. It is only now, when I recall the tone of their voices and the eloquence of their silence, that I understand what they were thinking, what they were too kind, loyal and loving to tell me. Come on, Alfie, you can't keep this going much longer. I was in too deep. I felt I had no option but to retreat into my delusional world where I kidded myself that I was able to fool all of the people, all of the time. I had not dared to be true to myself for so many years. The word gay still made me shudder. It had terrorized me from my late teens when I first played along with the idea I was one of the lads out on the pole with a belly full of beer. I could play the role of macho man to order. It was only when I was alone that I could acknowledge the truth to myself. I was sexually attracted to men. I could suppress my urges, but they needed to be fulfilled. I could subdue my fears, but they never left me. The rest, the international career, captaining Wales and the Lions, was just window dressing. Until I was honest, irrespective of the consequences, I didn't deserve the privilege of looking myself in the eye. I wanted my sport to define me because I wanted to live by its fundamental values of honesty and integrity. A form of madness gripped me that first night after Gemma left. I needed her presence, so I invented it. I climbed into her wardrobe and sprayed her favourite perfume, Chanel's Coco Mademoiselle, around the interior. I pulled her clothes off the hangers and shelves and buried myself in them. In my warped state of mind, it was my only way of getting her back. I sensed her spirit, savoured her scent. I was in her space, her sphere. I missed her so badly and hated myself for what I had inflicted on her. I'm a tall guy, 6'3", but cowered in a fetal position until dawn. Cramped and claustrophobic, I stared determinedly into the darkness because I was too scared to go to sleep. Whenever I closed my eyes, even for an instant, I'd see a series of nightmare images projected onto an imaginary screen. There were slow-motion scenes of the destruction I had caused, the mayhem that was about to engulf me. If I blinked, it felt like an eternity. I saw my friends and family crying because I had killed myself. There was a single word set into a screaming headline. Why? I was dead, but had still not been spared the ramifications of my death. Gemma, her parents, my friends, my teammates, every time I closed my eyes, they would be there. I heard them. What a selfish fucker. Everything he's ever told us, everything he's based his life on has been bullshit. We watched his back. We helped him out. It was continual. It reminded me of the sequence in the film of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, where Gene Wilder's group is in the boat on the Chocolate River. Images appear on the ceiling of the tunnel along which they are travelling in a trippy, hallucinogenic way. This was identical. The faces of my loved ones were grotesquely distorted, as if they were made of melting candle wax. They were nasty, sneering. You should have done this. You shouldn't have done that. You should have been honest. You should have been truthful. The solution, the fool's way out, was waiting to be discovered the following morning in a pantry on the way to the garage. It was where I kept my boots, trainers, kit, and the odd bit of exercise equipment. There, on a shelf, were bottles of spirits and liqueurs. We used to store them, along with a few boxes of wine and several slabs of beer in case we had a party. Friends used to come over regularly to visit in the summer. They'd bring booze, chill by the pool, and have a nice holiday. We loved their company. I never usually drank at home. My parents rarely do. I've never been the sort to go out every night to have 2 or 3 pints and stroll back to watch something mindless on the telly. Alcohol was just something to get me obliterated on a night out, when I drank to get pissed with my mates. But that day, I remembered the Heinekens and I thought, fuck it, I feel like getting pissed. So that was breakfast taken care of. One thing led to another. I found the vodka and discovered that by taking a couple of paracetamol tablets with it, I could lapse into a sort of sleep for 20 minutes or so. The witches were still waiting for me when I woke up, but they weren't so cruel and caustic. Everything was a little mellower, a little easier. Then the demon started to befriend me, whispering, "The more you take, the easier things get, the more chill."